This one is a little bit more kind of serious, but I think that it's kind of funny how it works because recently I was listening to an audiobook, Deep Survival, and basically my realization from what that book says is I'm not alive because of my skill or my knowledge. I'm alive because of my luck. You know, there's a million ways. There's an infinite amount of ways that I could have died already, but I'm still alive now, and I could die tomorrow. That'd be unfortunate. But the fact that I've lived this long is only because of luck. It's not really because of anything else, because anything can happen. Every day you wake up, there's the potential for you to die. Just at a crazy amount of ways. Like, if you really think about it, there's just so many ways that you could die every day. But we just go on living. It's no problem. Where this really comes into play is more when you're in situations of near death, like near death experiences, and putting yourself in survival situations, which is what the book is mostly about. But I really like the idea of going out into the woods and doing all that kind of stuff, going hiking and building things and kind of just doing whatever. And doing those things, there's a lot of risk, and sometimes if you don't kind of judge the risk properly, then you're dead. And the thing is that if you've never had experience with true risk, you've been like, oh, this is risky, but you never really experienced the full level of risk, then you don't know what it's like. You don't know what to expect. I don't know. Imagine you're going out into the woods and you saw a sign that said, watch out, bear country. And you're like, okay, it's bear country, but I've never seen any bears around here. I've never heard of anyone running into bears. So I should be fine. And you've been out in the woods, I don't know, 1,000 times before. You've been out in the woods 1,000 times by yourself, no problems, no bears. Because of this, you don't have anything in your equipment that can you don't have anything to fight a bear. You don't have anything to deal with bears. You don't have that kind of equipment on you because there's not supposed to be bears around. You're not in bear country. Even though you've seen a sign that says you are in bear country, you kind of ignore it because you're like, they don't know what they're talking about. I've never seen no bears here. So you go out into the woods, but on this 1,001th trip, you run into a bear and you die. Because you didn't know how to deal with the bear. You didn't know you didn't truly believe that there was a bear in the woods. You didn't believe it was a bear at first, and by the time you realized it was a bear, it was too late. You didn't know how to deal with the bear. You didn't know what you should do, and you chose the wrong way to handle it, and you died. There's so many ways that it could end up you dying. But every time before then, you just never ran into a bear, so you were fine, And that's just what I kind of mean about luck, because it's not that you knew how to handle a bear so you survived. It's the fact that you didn't know how to handle a bear, but you never ran into one, so it didn't matter. And it's like driving, you're driving on the road, and you're driving, and I don't know, you don't expect a deer to hop out in front of you, so you're driving at full speed. You've never seen deer jump out in front of you before, so you're not expecting one to jump out now. And then all of a sudden, boom, deer runs out, you hit it at going 80 miles an hour, and it goes through your windshield and you're dead. And it's not because you're an idiot. It's not because you like you just didn't expect it to ever happen to you. You know, you don't expect these kind of things to play out, and you didn't really do a proper threat analysis of the situation. And so as a result, you know, when the actual danger of the situation presents itself, you are not in a position to handle it because you've never prepared for it, you've never thought about it, you don't know what to do. And by the time you are in a position where you need to act, it's a little too late. You know, and then there's also stories where people, they go out in the woods and they run into a bear, but then either they manage to scare the bear off, or they manage to get away from the bear or something like that. And like I said, that's luck, you know, because the bear could have easily, like, whatever they did could have easily not worked, and they could have died, but they didn't. And you know, that's not because they're skillful, that's not because they're, you know, the best of the best. They just got lucky. Every day you live, you should really appreciate it a lot more, because it could easily be your last. And from a probability standpoint, it probably should have been. Like, there's just so many ways that you could die every day. And I think that it's just a very humbling experience to take that in and realize that and be like, no matter what the situation is, I may not be able to handle it. Because everyone says to kind of go into things with confidence, but too much confidence can be a bad thing. Not enough fear can be a bad thing. Fear is what keeps us alive. There's a reason why we have it. It's not because it kills us, it's because it saves us. In some situations, fear can kill you. You know, if you're so afraid of doing anything that you do nothing, you die. But if you're not afraid of anything, then you do something stupid and you die. So you need to kind of find a balance. And I mean, that's kind of what is said in the book. But I just think that is something that needs to be said more, and like people need to hear it more, because everything's in moderation, you know. You shouldn't be afraid of nothing, but you can't be afraid of everything. And you have to be able to act and handle anything. But still be afraid of not being able to handle the situation at the same time. I don't know if I really worded that the best. I recommend you kind of look in this more on your own. Because I did not spend years kind of studying this topic like others have. But it is just kind of crazy to think about, and very humbling to think that, you know, I know myself I should be dead 10 times over just on my own actions, just on my own situations that I've been in. There's a lot of times that have been very close calls, and it's like I could have been dead right now. But things played out just a little bit differently, and I have not died yet. And it's just kind of interesting to think about. But, yeah. Peace out.